fighting. Was that? No, sorry, museum's closed. Okay, you're welcome. Sand wasps of the genus Sphex are found on all continents. There are about 60 species worldwide and about 10 species in North America. The females of Sphex are impressively large wasps that prey on katydids. In this video, we will take a closer look at 4 species. Sphex ichneumoneus and Sphex pensylvanicus are widely distributed, while Sphex lucae and Sphex ashmeadi have ranges in the west and southwest respectively. All of them nest in the soil, usually in small aggregations. As I mentioned, the females of Sphex are predators of adult orthopterans, usually katydids, Tetagoniidae. The prey are stung, paralyzed, and dragged into an already completed burrow. Females generally provision with 2 to 6 prey items before sealing the burrow. The genus Sphex traces its origin all the way back to 1758 Uppsala, Sweden. There, the rector of Uppsala University, Carl Linnaeus, published his 10th edition of Systema Naturae, the starting point of zoological nomenclature. Among the handful of American hymenopterans included was a wasp collected by one of Linnaeus's apostles, Daniel Rolander, who had traveled to Suriname. When Rolander returned to Europe, he refused to hand over his specimens to his patron until he was given a university appointment. Linnaeus was furious, and their relationship never recovered. Rolander became the only apostle of Linnaeus to return alive and then die in obscurity. Nevertheless, Apis ichneumoniae was both collected by Rolander and described by Linnaeus. Therefore, the specimens had to change hands somehow. Legend has it that Linnaeus broke into the apartment of Rolander and stole these specimens outright. Though this is merely speculation, it makes a great taxonomy bedtime story. Sphex ichneumonius is a magnificent species. Known as the great golden digger wasp, Sphex ichneumonius deserves its murky origin story. It has a black body with a generous coat of golden hair. Both its legs and much of its abdomen are orange, or on some specimens, a bright red. The males are smaller and resemble the females closely. The wings of both males and females are a caramel color, but in some parts of their range they are clear. And that's to be expected, since their range extends from Canada to Brazil. 5 years after his 10th edition, Linnaeus had acquired enough specimens from distant lands to publish Centuria Insectorum, 100 insects. Among them were specimens acquired from the Pennsylvania territory and found their way to another Swedish collector named Charles de Geer. Linnaeus named the new wasp Pensylvanica. Sphex pensylvanicus is a large, imposing wasp. It is almost entirely black. The hair on its head and thorax are black, even its wings are black. It does have 2 small patches of oppressed hair between its eyes that has been described as the color of tarnished silver. The males are dark like the females. They also possess some silvery oppressed hair on the inside edge of their eyes, a bit more than the females do, but are otherwise quite similar. 104 years after Linnaeus, in 1867, the Swiss entomologist Henri de Saussure, working in Geneva, helped complete the Journey of the Austrian frigate Novara around the Earth by describing all the new material brought back to Vienna from this expedition. In this volume, Saussure described another Sphex species from Southern California. Sphex lucae, of which I only have the male to show you, is rather nondescript. The male is all dark, the female most often has a red abdomen. It has scattered silvery oppressed hairs on its face, but darker hair elsewhere. Bohart and Menke placed lucae in its own genus called Fernaldina, but others prefer to place it in a subgenus of the same name. 39 years later, in 1906, Henry Fernald, working at the Massachusetts Agricultural College in Amherst, would describe the last of our 4 covered species. He named Ashmeadi after the 19th century hymenopterist William Ashmead. Ashmeadi is a black wasp with a red abdomen and typically red legs. This specimen, collected at the northern edge of its range, has dark legs. Its wings have a caramel color and its head and thorax are covered in dark hairs. 57 years after Ashmeadi was described, in 1963, Richard Bohart and Arnold Menke at the University of California, Davis reclassified the subfamily Sphecidae. They provided a key to all North American species of Sphex and the other genera in 2 tribes. It is very useful and available free online through Bug Guide, so it should be one of your primary resources. Of course, any effort to determine a specimen's identity should start with range maps. With only 10 North American species, range maps can significantly pare down your list of possible suspects. The further south your specimen was collected, the more species it could potentially be. As far as length goes, the genus Sphex contains some of North America's largest hymenopterans. Females of pensylvanicus average about 27 millimeters, ichneumoneus average 23 millimeters, and ashmeadi average about 25 millimeters. Their faces reveal many differences that you can see from these pictures. The question is, are these differences consistent across the broad range of the species? No one individual specimen can exemplify the entire species. Clearly, however, ichneumoneus stands out with its coat of golden hair. The 1963 Bohart and Menke key is not about microscopic variation in punctation size or the hairs on its mouth parts. Rather, it emphasizes large-scale differences such as the color of body parts and the color of hair. The structural characters used tend to be fairly noticeable, like leg bristles or the shape of certain tergites. In other words, this is a good group to work with if you are looking to have success and build your confidence. Well, that should get you started. Good luck! As always, a special thanks go to the internet resources that make these videos possible, including the Biodiversity Heritage Library, Discover Life, and Iowa State University's Bug Guide. Look for them online.